like small ones of those skittering around at the moment. So like they're still in their like first year of life or whatever, so they'll be around for a while and then eventually they'll get big. But yeah, we've also got like normal, like, I don't know, smallish house spiders and crap, you know. It's just like, I don't know, that's kind of why I was like, I made the joke when I started stream tonight, because like we were going into like the spider forest and shit, you know. And I'm like the average like Australian yard and stuff, because yeah, it's, I don't know, there's like some people's places where like they get infestations of like redbacks or something like that, and then, you know, once those things breed, like once, if all of them make it to adulthood, if they've got like the right conditions for it, you just get fucking heaps of them and stuff. Like, we had it one year, we got a lot of rain, and a lot of rain means a lot of bugs, and a lot of bugs mean a lot of food for spiders. So we got a lot of very, very large spiders that year, and yeah, that just kind of happens sometimes. The only problem was that I accidentally missed like finding them before they bred.
I can't carry
and
anymore.
So I was sitting on the couch minding my own business, whatever, watching shows, and the next minute I had like a whole like clutch of fucking little baby huntsmen skittering all over me and stuff, and I'm like, what the fuck? There's nothing I could do about it, but you know, yeah, all I could kind of do was like spray the area and be like, hopefully I got some of them. At that size, it also kind of depends. As far as I understand, like, spiders have got different kinds of fucking lung systems as well. Some of them got fucking lungs, some of them like get poisoned from like cleaning themselves. So yeah, sometimes sprays work, sometimes sprays don't work. And then yeah, I find that the spiders specifically in my house want to try to breed somewhere behind my couch or in the wall behind my couch, one of the two. And so yeah, every so often we just get like a shit ton there. But you can also, if they're big enough, you can hear huntsmen's call to mate as well. So that's an actual thing. Spiders do make mating calls, and they sound like a Seiko watch. So when I hear them, the only time I'm really concerned about it is if I hear it, I know that I'm going to have at least 3 spiders in my house in that like 1 to 2 weeks, right? Because there's at least a male calling, which means a female will come, which means typically another male, smaller male, will be nearby, hoping to try to also mate. So I'll normally have at least 3 spiders. And as long as I'm aware that it's coming, you know, as long as I know it's going to happen, I can kind of like, I don't know, prepare for it in a way. But yeah, I don't think I can pick up any of those. I can pick up bolts. There we go. And then I have to be concerned when I do hear it, because my cousin will literally, if she's over, she will literally rip the windows and doors off the house to get out if it's between her and an exit. So if I hear it, I get her the fuck out of the house. And I've done that before when I've heard it, and I've heard it going off behind her. I'm like, if I can hear it, it's a big spider, and it's a male spider, and it's calling, and I'm like, I don't need to know where that thing is, I just need to get her the fuck out of my house, honestly.
This is most fortunate. Colleen's brain knows Mephisto's weakness. Place it in the Herodric cube along with Colleen's other relics. The eye, the heart, and the flail.
I don't think I got the flail yet, so I think I put the brain in the thing. There we go. Heart, eye, I don't have his heart yet. That's fine. Also, I'd like to use something like that eventually, because I did use one of those at some point, so that would be neat. Yeah, what else? It's nice to still get the option to play with or without the DLC. The stash has room gems. No more mules for them. Yeah, see, I don't need the extra stash and like the rune stuff. Like I said, like I don't use it and stuff, but that's just a matter of like how I play and stuff. So a lot of what they added and stuff are completely irrelevant to what I'm doing, you know? But yeah, it's fine that it's not, I mean, apart from the fact that they did kind of shove it in your face a little bit when it first came out with like the, they changed, at least on Twitch, they changed like the image or whatever that you select for streaming, and then they shoved like the DLC thing in like the front page or whatever. They changed like a whole bunch of the, you know, like when you got your character tabs down the side and it shows like there's a little symbol next to them. I'm like, I didn't love that they added that because that was a lot more like Diablo 3. But as I said, I have mostly just beef with them changing shit to do with Diablo 2 into not Diablo 2. Like, I'm quite happy enough to play Diablo 2 like this because I've played this for like fucking decades, right? But I am streaming and I am also experiencing Resurrected. This is my second Resurrected character. I have all my other ones imported anyway, so, you know, I can always like freely run around with them, which is fun. But, yeah, I don't know. I do kind of feel like they should have separated that, you know, but there was a lot of people that were very excited that it came out. I just, as a fan of Diablo 2 and as somebody that was doing like nostalgia playthrough and recreation playthrough and stuff, the changes to it were at a bad time. I think if I had finished doing these two with like all the standard stuff, it would have been like great. Like, understandably, I don't know how many people know this, I obviously can't show it while we're in here, but like, you know, the stash page that you do get anyway, it is actually substantially bigger than the original stash. And I know that because when I imported my characters, you can physically see it. I'm pretty sure that also the cube is bigger by I think a row or some shit. I don't know. But still, it's just fascinating little stuff. Most of the shit's just stuff that people just don't know because they haven't played it originally. I might have pathed down to this wrong. Or no, I've done this whole area. That's fine. I was expecting like another way down. I saw this and I thought I wasn't paying like a lot of attention, so I kind of thought it was going to take me somewhere. That's fine. What else? No, I hear spiders crawling around. I'm running. You don't hear them crawling, you hear them calling. Calling, like calling to each other, you know. Honestly, I don't know if it's worse. I think if I could hear spiders moving around, I think that would be it. That'd be too much. But yeah. But where I live, lucky, only spiders are maybe the size of a pinky. Oh yeah. Well here, we get spiders that are like the size of a dinner plate. Like I've had a couple of those. Like we usually get like the smaller side of spiders like in this house because I'm pretty good about like my spider keep. We get about somewhere between 10 to 15 centimeter spiders. Sorry, 5 to 15 centimeters. There we go. Brain's working now. Whereas they can get all the way up to like a full dinner plate size, which I've seen two. Not in this house. I had one in my childhood home. We called it Fluffy. And my dad hosted and we never saw it again, but we saw its offspring for decades to come. And then I had it at my first house I moved out to, literally like the day or so after I moved in. I came downstairs to have breakfast before I went to work, and I saw like basically like a smaller version of Fluffy, but still like 20 odd centimeter spider just perched above my fridge on the wall. And I'm like, I had to go past the spider to get into the kitchen to be able to get the spray. And I actually ended up climbing over the bench because I didn't want to be too fucking close to it, because I'm like, I've never seen one that big that close. And sometimes, depending on the type of spider, they sometimes will like launch at you. Specifically the what are they called? There's a second one, I don't think it's like whitetail. It's I can't fucking remember. There's another spider that looks an awful lot like a huntsman. I can't remember its fucking name at the minute, but it's smaller. They only get up to about 10 centimeters or so. And so they're pretty easy to mistake for them, but they're pointier. They look pointier than a huntsman. So that's really the only way to know it. And the real difference between them is they will carry like their offspring on their back, or like basically like if they're ready to like birth their offspring and stuff, they will just fucking explode in a pile of spiders. So that is horrifying. But those ones are wolf spiders, that's what they're called. They will fight. I've had one of those like rear up and try to like go me before, I've had one climb on my cat and ride it towards me like a fucking chariot. I did not appreciate that. I killed that one really hard. Because I'm like, I'm not having intelligent fucking war battle cry fucking spiders in my household. My cat also was relatively traumatized by the whole thing as well. He did not like the experience one bit, and I don't blame him. The worst part was he's also roughly the color of a spider, and my couch is also roughly the color of a spider. So, bad choices were made all around, but you know what, it's fine. Anywho, yeah, the big spider I had at like my last house, like obviously like nobody wants to hear about like, you know, any kind of like deaf to animals or anything like that. This is a wild native fucking spider in the household that's basically larger than my head. And all I know is normally, like, personally I tend to spray things. Obviously, like, if I have something to like bat something with, I will, but like I generally spray things and then sit the spray can on top of it so it can't get away, so I know where the spider died, kind of thing. That way I can keep track of it in case it didn't die. Or if like the spray was ineffective in some way, you know, which I've had before. And in this case, the spider did not fit under the can and was strong enough to lift said can and was like basically about to get up and walk off with it, kind of thing. So that was one of those, you know, you gotta kind of break its legs situation to like prevent it from going anywhere. So I have like a substantial number of spider stories as well, because like I just have like a lot of experiences with them. Like I've been sitting on the couch before and I've had a spider on the other seat. I've like looked over my couch before and I've had one that looked like a fucking hermit crab, and I was gonna poke it. I'm like, no, I don't know what that is. So I'm like, you know, Australian rules, get something to poke it with. So I ended up poking it with a pencil and it jumped up and it was a spider. I'm like, no, fuck that. And yeah, I've had, like I said, I've had it where I'm on the toilet at like 2-3 a.m. at night or something, and my cat's herding like, you know, a decent like 10 centimeter size fucking spider towards me while I'm sitting on the toilet, and I'm like, I gotta figure out where the fuck to throw my legs to like get to safety and stuff in a confined space. And or when I've come out of the bathroom and I'm like, why is my cat staring at the door, like, you know, that I'm holding onto that I've just opened, and I look over next to like where my hand is and there's a spider the size of my face just casually chilling on the door in the middle of the night. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this, you know? I have like quite a lot of them, so yeah, I don't know, it's just standard existence here. I do think in some capacity I might be like slightly more chill with it than most people. I obviously don't want them on me, but oh wait, neat. Alright, well, depending on how far we get, we'd definitely be starting from there. Yeah, so I don't know, like some Australians definitely not cool with it. Some of them are like, I'll just move it outside and stuff. For the most part, I'm just kind of like, you know, I don't know. I lived alone for like a good like decade or so I had to like deal with this shit. So I also kind of want to go up further because this looks like it's going to path that way since we've got a waypoint here, but I don't know if this is a dead end or not. It's the only way to know is like push on a little bit, you know. I guess I don't like a meatball. Oh yeah. I could never so scared of spiders. Oh yeah, there's a crypt thingy here. I won't go around there just yet. This will be an enclosed space then if that's the case. Yeah, I'll try to get the trees from the other side too. This will go up. I remember this. This will go up into the next sort of area. Leave them alone, mate. Fucking Raji over here, fucking bringing everybody to fight. No, mate. No. Leave them where you found them. I don't want them. We'll kill them later. I will go in here. We got time. What is this? Swampy pit. Nice. Alright. Where I live luckily... Oh, I saw that. It's scary. It's fine. I think I'm just desensitized to them. Just because, like, just the fucking sheer spider stories that I have. I don't feel like my experiences are kind of like the standard norm either. I just kind of feel like most people just kind of have them, like, just jump scare them, you know? That's generally the normal situation. But we did have a discussion at one point where somebody was like, oh, you know, somebody said, oh, the huntsmen and stuff are harmless, so therefore there's no reason to, like, you know, harm them. And I'm like that implies, hold on, that implies that somebody out there is probably existing with X number of gigantic spiders just chilling on their wall in their house, unbothered, and I hate that. It is possible, but I don't like the idea. I'm going to have to go back. I know, we still got health. We're good. And I can identify this. Cold resistance. That's not going to help us that much, but it's fine for the moment. I'll chuck that in there, and I'll identify that hopefully next time. Move all that over. I need a little bit more health. Yeah, what else? So, thank you for confirming that I should know to Australia. Well, the funny thing is, I was about to say, I'm like, it's only like, most of the time, the only concerning creatures are like if you go outside. But I'm like, unfortunately, spiders will visit you inside your like house and shit. So, yeah. That's one of those, like, realistically speaking, there isn't really a safe spot for that. But yeah, generally, the bigger the spider, in some cases, not as much venomous, but there are a few really big spiders that are also very venomous. So there is that. Most of our spiders are like deadly are small, but a couple of the really, really deadly ones are really big. So it's like a mixed bag here. Also, there is like at least one Australian like content creator who like has like videos where I think she calls her spider Gary, and it's like it's photoshopped as all hell, but like there's so many scenes of her just like chilling with Gary and like people freaking out over spider in location, or like, you know, it being in a car or something. I have had an instance of like being in a car and seeing a spider crawl into the side mirror and then never finding the spider again. So that was horrifying. But I was gonna say, I'm like, what are you attacking? That's fine, as long as he's able to kill it, because half the time this thing like just wants to disappear and doesn't come back. So yeah, I don't know. I always figure people that are not Australian should travel to Australia with like at least a bit of like educational knowledge about the creatures and shit. If it looks cute, it will probably fuck you up. If it looks dangerous, it will probably fuck you up. Just assume that everything will fuck you up and don't touch nothing. That's probably the best way to go about it. If it's in a zoo, it's probably safe.
Yes.
Obviously, like, I could just imagine taking that, like, somebody taking that information and rolling with it and being like, cool, so tigers in zoos are safe in Australia. It's like, no, they're not. That's not what I said. Nobody fucking do that. But, yeah, I don't know. Somebody would probably put it to a test and be like, see, she said. It's like, no. I don't know. And then we got a lot of, like, creatures that are just kind of, like, cute and they're somewhat dangerous kind of things. I will see if I can swap that over for something else, because I already have the exact amount of charms that will fill up my inventory. So I'm in the process of exchanging them for better things at this point. You add cold damage, you are cold resistant 13%. I'm trying to also downsize my big charms down to something smaller if I can. But I'm not seeing anything I specifically want to swap over. Like the one to do cold damage is kind of neither here nor there kind of thing. But it is damage that I could cast as opposed to resist. And from now until Nightmare, I don't really have anybody that I need to fear cold of. So I can probably sell this one. That should be fine. Half freeze duration, that could be good. I have got that on my gloves. What else you do? Poison resistant 16. I swapped that over for something just recently. I think that's this. One of these two got it. You got a poison resistance of 11. So I could definitely keep that as a spare, but a half freeze duration ring is better, you know. Not better than that. Attack rating, dexterity, replenish life mana, resist. It's not better than that. It is good. I'll swap it for that. Keep that, and I'm not going to keep the small ones. I'll get rid of those, which will be fine. I'll keep that because I can end that one. I don't think I want anything else at this time. Yeah, that works. Sorry, an article in Australia, flying spiders. That's true. Yes, we have got flying spiders. Obviously not ones that flap their physical wings because they don't have that, but a lot of spiders will like wait until a strong breeze and then they'll cast like a string of web and then take off And thing like basically just jump into the air and be carried on the breeze. And then eventually their web will come into contact with like a tree or a fence or something to ground them. And then they'll just generally make a web wherever they land. Golden orb weaver spiders do that. And I also have a story about that, so buckle the fuck up. There was this location I like lived at, and traveling between it and work, I would often see this one house that was just inundated with like, it was just overrun their whole garden. There was no space outside that did not have a giant swarm of spiders. And I'm like, okay, that's horrific. I guess nobody lives there. Turns out that those fuckers were just waiting for a decent breeze. And my house was in the general direction of said breeze. So one day we got a strong wind, and I kind of woke up to, you know, more than a dozen very, very large, very spidery looking spiders that were all just nested up outside of like my garage and front of my house, up my driveway. And it was really bad because I'm like, I am also arachnophobic, right? Even though like it doesn't seem like I am and stuff, but that was pretty horrific. I came out and I'm like, I don't have time to deal with this. I just need to be able to try to back the car out, get the fuck out of here, and I'll deal with this when I come home from work. I'm like, obviously they're still going to be here by then. They're just going to be more situated and stuff. So I kind of honestly thought that I was still dreaming or like having a nightmare or something. Realistically, that's actually what I thought was going on. But I came home and obviously they're all still fucking there, and I'm like, okay. So yeah, I ended up, I don't know how many were there. There was like over 20 at least. They're big. They're about the size of like my hand, right? Because orb weavers are very big. Their webs are really strong too. And again, they're one of the things where people are going to say, oh, they're mostly harmless, you know, they won't harm humans, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but I can't walk out of my house and have fucking 20 plus giant spiders strung up between my fucking house and the fence. You know, I just physically can't do that. So anyway, I obviously had to like take a rake to try and to get their fucking webs down. And the fucking webs were so friggin' strong. It ended up getting my fucking rake stuck in it initially, and I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? So then my neighbors got up me because they like the spiders, and they were like, don't get rid of them, they're so beautiful, they won't harm anything. And I'm like, mate, they're not over your fucking place, are they? They're not over your driveway. You're not trying to get out into your car underneath them, are you? And yeah, so I ended up like obviously like showing them away. There was one of those cases where technically I didn't actually kill them, but I threw my fucking rake away because I couldn't get them out of the fucking rake with the goddamn friggin' spider webs of like, it's not of steel, but like it felt like I just couldn't like get them out of the spider webs and the spider webs out of my fucking rake itself, because they were really high up too, right? This is why I needed the rake. I needed like reach for this. I'm like, I was willing to sacrifice a whole ass rake for that. I can identify that. Extra gold. I might keep that one because my Tabby Cat Sorceress, we be liking the extra gold and extra magical shit stuff. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I can also hear like the traps near me going. Chuck those into there. Chuck that into there. I can hold that over to there for the moment. Move those two over. Move that to there. There we go. That shit works. Was it? Let's fly now. Yeah. Did they ever attack your kitties? Well, I would say that the one that decided to ride my cat Phoenix technically, like, squared up, like, did its whole, like, posing thing and, like, basically climbed up my cat to, like, ride it, like a chariot kind of thing. So, I mean, that's kind of the closest they've got to attacking them. Phoenix used to eat spiders a long time ago until he ate a really big one. He came to me looking like a fucking Chihulu thing, you know, the fucking demon thing with the like tentacle mouth, whatever. Right, came to me like looking like that, but the spider was very clearly still alive inside of his mouth. And I'm like, I don't need this in my life. And yeah, no, I think it bit him in his mouth. It's one of the ones where the bite is super painful but not venomous. And I think he got bitten, or it tasted really bad. Maybe the big ones taste really bad, I don't know. But he used to like eating the little ones. And yeah, ever since that, he mostly just leaves them alone. He doesn't like them anymore. My other cat, Azula, she likes hunting things, like mostly bugs and insects and stuff, right? And lizards, and basically anything that gets in the house. She's pretty much, oh shit, Bloodwing, hold up. Let me back the fuck up off you. I can't be taking that kind of a hit. Oh, Jesus. There we go. Holy crackers. I'm glad he kind of dropped some health then, because I could really do with a little bit extra, you know? Also, speaking of, that's another fucking maximum damage. All I'm getting with these rings is like maximum damage this, maximum damage that. Speaking of, give me some mana. There we go. Alright. Yeah, anyway.
I can't
So
carry
yeah,
anymore.
I don't think my cats have specifically been attacked, but like they also have like obviously hunted them as well and stuff, but yeah, just kind of is how this shit works. Mind you, Australia's a weird place anyway, because like we get like all sorts of like herbivore creatures will eat like meat and all sorts of shit like opportunistically. Like if anybody's ever seen like the photo of like the cow eating a snake, that shit is just, it happens, you know. If it's gonna happen somewhere, it's gonna be in Australia, I'll tell you that much. I'll swap over one of those as well. I do kind of want to keep that. We'll see. W reference. I don't get the reference, but that's okay. So it should make a series talking about your personal experience with Australian wildlife. I mean, most of the time when I play RimWorld, we end up on the topic of spiders. So, I mean, doing Diablo is kind of a nice change of pace. Because, yeah, it's... I don't know. I'm always, like, chitty-chatting anyway whenever I'm streaming. It doesn't matter if it's about the game, or whatever's going on, or just conversational shit. But, yeah, in this specific case... Yeah, I have got a substantial number of spider stories. I feel like I have more than like the average person, but yeah. As for this, so the thing is, when I made my sorceress originally, I was really partial to extra gold and what is it? Magical items, to find magical items stuff, right? So I do like that, but in a battle up against a boss, it gives me no real tactical advantage over any of this shit, which I do keep the charms. They're actually one of the few things where we go good with that. This gives me 9% extra gold from monsters, versus this is 26 extra gold from monsters. But I don't really think that this is gonna fit. I'm just gonna chuck this on the ground for a moment to see if I can fit everything except for that, because if it doesn't fit, I can't keep the extra big charm. If it fits just fine, then so be it. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna chuck that one out for a second so I can fit this shit back in here. Evenly, please. Jesus. Where the fuck did that go in there? Okay, I see it. No, that's fine. I'm not quite sure where it's putting it now. I kind of don't want to put that in there. I'll just manually put the last couple away. Also, I can't use like the ground as like permanent storage or anything like that. If anybody's curious about that, I can like drop things briefly to do this kind of thing, but this is like the extent of which I can use. But yeah, anyway, as I was saying with like the size of the stash, I think it used to only be down to about here-ish. I think that was about the size of the original stash. It wasn't a lot. Give me that, give me that. I do want to look at that orb. I want to sell that for sure. I do have extra money, but I don't use Glacial Spike, and I am using Firewall. It gives me life and lightning resistant 39%. This is a 5 to 12. This is a 10 to 4. So that's ultimately better there. But I am using Frost Nova, that's 3. This does do knockback, which is substantially better, but only because I've socketed to that, and I get 10 life. So knockback trumps that at this stage, and this one's OP as fuck. The Frost Nova and the knockback essentially trump this, but like not by that fucking much, because this one is kind of pretty good. It is arguably better than this, even though this one does knockback though. Now I'm conflicted, because they both got knockback on them. Alright, I can't socket it, it's not socketed. It's 2 verse 3, 10 verse 11. Knockback's the only thing that's pushing this one up, honestly, because this one is almost better. I'm gonna have to deal with the no knockback. We're gonna lose that. We're gonna sell this, and we're gonna keep my old orb. So now we got... Are we kidding? Is this actually also gold? Yeah, this one's gold. Okay, so we're going full fucking gold. Unintentionally, but we got full fucking gold. Yeah. Anywho, like I said, my upgrades and shit ain't gonna make sense. Don't think too hard about them. It's fine. But yeah. Some of this stuff is like splitting hairs at this point, because it essentially has to be higher damage and attack speed plus magic, or one has to be substantially higher than both, or two have to be substantially better than like one. And that's kind of how this works, is there are rare cases where one will be substantially, significantly a trump over the rest, or two will be enough to trump the other. In this case, we're going normal speed and normal speed, and this one just has knockback versus the other one not. If I hadn't socketed it with knockback, this would automatically be better. And I am using Firewall pretty recently, so yeah. I think I got everything else, so we're good. We'll go back in. I've still got a little bit here too. Would you ever ride an elephant? No. Rode a camel before, and probably a horse at some time in my life. I'm not really big on riding animals, just in general. Nothing against not riding them, it's not something that interests me. I also don't know where the fuck we'd find a rideable elephant in Australia, to be fair. Like, I'm sure there's places. I just don't fucking know where. Here's our next level down. You know, there's a few places around the, you know, Australia and stuff where you can kind of like go and do like random stuff like that, but I don't know. Like, I've got relatives that really do love elephants and stuff, but I just don't see, like, I understand that they're giant, majestic, intelligent creatures and stuff, but I just don't get the majesty out of them myself. So that's just not something that I would line up for, you know? Although my Frost Nova is going to be weaker, so we're going to be wanting to remember that. I need to swap over for a second so I can actually test out how much stronger my Firewall's gotten. Because my Firewall beforehand, out of interest, used to be enough that I could kill most enemies if they were standing on it. Okay, it's back to that. Okay, as long as they can stand on it, it will work. We had that in Act 2. It was really strong. So, I hate this area. I hate this so fucking much. I hate the maze of this. For anybody that doesn't know, I don't like Act 3 in Diablo 2. It is my least favorite area out of the entire game, with like a very, very close marginal like second place being like Act 4. Because like, I do love fighting Diablo, don't get me wrong, that's the only thing that makes me like love it, right? But, because I think Diablo's just fucking awesome. But, yeah, as for like Pandemonium Fortress and going out into like all the demony area and all the creatures you get out there, just the bland bleak ass area, plus we also had like the fucking experience of like, you know, my game crashing like a bazillion times when I had my last graphics card and stuff. I just used up all my fucking health and everything. So yeah, that was fucking challenging, because